I first got to know Jörg in Munich when he wrote a piece for the anniversary of the Bayerische Staatsorchester. And it was an amazing experience because I was assisting Nagano at the time. I'd studied the piece. And to see him in rehearsal, really being able to hear into the orchestra and to be able to hear so many details and to ask so precisely for what he'd written, I was really taken aback. And back then, I thought to myself, I really hope that I never work with this person because he's so good. But then Babylon came, and I really sort of worked with Jörg at the beginning to put the piece together because at that time he was writing at the same time. And we found each other at the very beginning. We did a recording of some of the septet music, and that was the first time that we really started to speak about his music. And he actually gave me a key because, for example, there was one glissando that he said should sound as if someone was tuning into an interstellar radio, so the frequency. And that idea, that imagery, really unlocked the incredible sort of technicality of his music and gave me a window to be able to interpret it and to really feel it and to take it within. Babylon is an immensely difficult work, not just for all the individual people, but also to put it together. I think Jörg very much admits that he writes, he's such a good musician himself, and he knows the technical capabilities of the instrument and often of the players. And he deliberately, what he says, he writes 1 millimeter over the boundaries of what's possible. But when you're actually rehearsing it and learning it and putting it together, that feels like a good 10 centimeters. It's so extreme sometimes. There's so much detail. There's so many remarks from him in the score. And the problem is that when you take one bar or even one part, then that's a lot of information. But during almost 2.5 hours of music in this opera, the level of detail and the complexity of all the different groups that he's assembled really makes it one of the great operatic challenges. I would say that the core of the piece is the same, which I find fantastic because I really came to love the piece in Munich. He's changed the end of the first half and the end of the second half actually to make. I think he wasn't quite so satisfied with that, and there are a few arias that he's inserted that are very spherical. They're very simple, unexpectedly so, and they have a real aura that I'm very interested to see within this huge panorama of musical styles and volume and complexity. Then suddenly to be presented with such simplicity. I think it will be very surprising and very moving. I'm really happy to be working on the piece again because it means a lot to me, and we have a really fantastic bunch of soloists who are taking everything so seriously and in a very relaxed way. Andreas Kriegenburg is such an interesting director, and some of the most interesting scenic rehearsals that I've actually experienced in my career. And we've now begun with the orchestra, and they even got the music pretty late on. And for me to see the sort of computational power and ability of this orchestra it's phenomenal. You know, to work and to almost be reading this stuff for the first time, and just. It's extraordinary to see, like a supercomputer, working out some very complex calculation and a varying calculation all the time. And to have that power there, some processing power, is a real privilege, and I find it very fascinating.